here on CoastLife, you know that we love supporting local broadcasting. So we are going to introduce you to a fellow someone in the biz on the CoastLife couch, Heather Vitale, joining us from Post Time. So many people have probably watched your show, but as more people come and move to the area, could you describe Post Time a little bit for maybe some new coastal Delmarva residents?
Post Time show, first of all, it's been on the air for 25 years. It started July 1998, which is...
Okay, so we're coming up on an anniversary.
Yes, it's so exciting. And it's a show about harness racing locally, so we cover racing from Bally's Dover, Harrington Raceway, Ocean Downs, and the one thing I'm super proud about the show is that it's not just like a racing recap show. We have educational features, personality profiles, we do a lot of fun things, things that have to do with horse anatomy. So even if you're not into horse racing, if you have a horse or even know what a horse is, you probably will love the show.
There's something for everybody on there, which I love, and especially harness racing is something that maybe you haven't heard of. So describe a little bit what harness racing is as a sport, as a culture. Let's dive into that.
Okay, so there's two types of horse racing that people know about. So there's thoroughbred racing and there's standardbred racing. Well, standardbred racing is harness racing. And basically, it's when you have a two-wheeled vehicle, and some people call it chariots.
Sure.
You know? Yeah, you know what I mean? But they're called bikes, race bikes, and you hook them onto a harness of a horse, and a driver sits behind the horse, and they go at speeds of 30 miles an hour.
Wow. I think that's something we were talking about earlier is you had said harness racing. I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? But then I Googled it. I'm like, oh, chariot. You know, so that's what I was thinking. So that's good to know that harness racing it's really cool. When you see it, you're like, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah. So people can now watch the show on Delmarva Sports Network. Are you excited for that?
I'm so excited about that. So yeah, we've been on WBOC for 25 years since the beginning, and now we're going to be on Delmarva Sports Network, which it's a great fit for us because we are a sports show, and I'm really excited because I think it's going to reach a lot more people. You know, I know it's got a really young audience. There's so much interaction on the social media for DSN, and so we're excited, like really excited.
It's going to be really exciting. We had Ava in from DSN last week, and she was talking about all the cool stuff and unique sports that DSN covers. Not just the high school stuff, and especially when we get on into sort of the summer season and sort of the off season for high school sports. That's where another set of sports really gets to shine.
Yeah. And on top of that, I know that DSN live streams, and so again, like a lot of people have asked me, how do I see Post Time? Because they're not right in front of their TV watching BOC at the time. And, I do a couple things on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel for Post Time show, but with the live streaming and then being able to go in and do a search for Post Time, like anybody really around the world now at any time, 24/7, can just pull up Post Time and then they can watch any episode. I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched.
Well, this is so cool, especially because like we said earlier, harness racing is something that I started learning about because you're here, but now I want to watch it so bad. My interest is peaked. So I can't wait. I have the DSN app to watch it.
And I think that's sort of the thing with some of these unique sports. Like you think, oh, I don't really know that much about it. It might get hard to get into. And I think that's where a show like Post Time, where you have educational programming and bits and things to really kind of hold people's hand as they get into a new sport. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a really great show for people that don't know a lot about harness racing. They're not going to sit there for half an hour and just watch a bunch of races go by. They are going to learn something. So we try to make it a show that if you already know about harness racing, that's great. We want you to watch the show. You might learn something. Maybe you know everything that's happening in the half an hour, but that doesn't matter. You're still going to love it. And for people that are novices to the sport, they're definitely going to pick up something, and we get to go behind the scenes, like what's happening before the horse goes on the track, and talk about the drivers and the trainers, and and the horses are the stars of the sport, so we always love doing personality profiles on them.
Amazing. So when can people start to watch this on Post Time, on DSN? What events are coming up in the near future? Just let us know how we can tune in.
July 9th is when we will be on DSN. So we have 11:30 on Sunday, which is what it was on WBOC. So it's the same time, which I absolutely love. So 11:30 a.m. on DSN, I know. Coming up, well, actually this summer we're getting ready to switch tracks. So what happens is during the spring we're at Harrington Raceway, during the winter time we're at Bally's Dover, but then during the summer we actually have 5 weeks where we're Ocean Downs, which is in Berlin, Maryland.
Perfect.
And like Ocean Downs does so many incredible things. Actually, we'll be having on an upcoming show the recap of their camel ostrich races. So I know. They do. They have hot dog eating contests, wiener dog races. So it's not just horse racing. You know, whatever's happening at the track, we're covering it.
I love peacocks and hot dogs.
That is awesome. I was actually I was going to ask you, in your over 25 years of experience with Post Time, has there been anything that's really surprised you, or a moment that you've just loved or never forgotten?
Yeah, it's so funny that you asked that, because on the way here I was thinking, what's my favorite feature, Ben? And I thought, that's like picking a favorite child.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This one.
But
Sure,
I
sure.
can tell you anything that has to do with a horse. So recently we did have a horse that was one of our champion horses locally, and he's gone on to help adults and children that have everything from autism to anxiety. And so I love when horses, you know, they shine through on the racetrack, and then people can see the magic of them on and off the track as well, because they're just extraordinary animals.
They really are.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful animals.
Yes.
Heather, this has been so much fun. Thanks for coming in and talking about Post Time.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited about being on DSN.
Yes, we
coming
cannot
up.
wait to tune in.
Exactly.
Thank you.
July 9th. Don't forget it. But we've got more to get to with more Coast Life when we get back.